Hello everyone and welcome to my video season of Blood Good News. I will start with the quality of life improvements they announced. I've made chapters for video if you want to skip to season specifics. For hardcore players now, we will have a disconnect protection. Scroll of Escape will be used if disconnect while in combat. Experience bonuses are multiplicative with the World Tier bonuses. With the XP bonuses, they estimate it will be 40% faster to reach level 100. Extra waypoints unlocked if you choose to skip the campaign. All the renown carries over to new characters. World monsters no longer trail player level. 2 additional character slots. Town and vendor improvements. Occultist will have a shop set at the Tree of Whisper. Stashes have been added to all small towns and extra stashes in big cities near important vendors. Obol's vendor will be found now a lot closer to waypoints. Improvements to mounts' responsiveness, plus they now move faster, are more agile, reduce dismount cooldowns, and have the ability to charge through blockades. Plenty of improvements to Nightmare dungeons include teleportation to the interior of the dungeon after consuming a sigil, increased monster density, more durable NPC companions, and reduced backtracking. Overall readability of traps improved, and all the CC across the board has been greatly reduced. Easier to level up glyphs. Some of the dungeon afflictions are nerfed or fixed to be more desirable. Backstabber is back, but will only apply vulnerable if hit from behind. This will allow play around it if you get hit. We are no longer forced to auto-salvage the critical damage affliction, as now it will only be active for 3 seconds only if we get hit. Death Pulse nerfed to not stack. Lightning Storm finally will get some love. Movement speed bonus for 5 seconds while inside the bubble will only trigger mechanic if the player is in combat, and if has a direct path to the bubble. This will balance the affliction to not slow us down. Drifting Shade nerfed too. Completely removed objectives in some maps can rush straight to boss. Redesign many dungeon layouts to reduce backtracking. World events improved. Legion events will have increased warning time, and the time between events reduced to 25 minutes. World boss spawns are reduced to 3 hours and a half. A message will be broadcasted to all players 15 minutes before boss spawn. Buffs to Tree of Whispers and Helltide. The Nightmare sigils rewarded for Whispers will be in 5 levels range of highest dungeon completed. Gold rewarded for doing Whispers is greatly increased. Experience gain buffs on Whisper and Helltide. Whisper's caches will reward only items as the cache type. Helltide chests will have an icon on minimap to indicate the item type. UI improvements items can be marked as favorite or junk. Favorites are locked to not be able to sell or salvage by accident. Better sorting for extracted legendary aspects and items. Improved dungeon tooltips to show both whispers and aspects earned. And most important, search and filter option for stashes. Both functions work across all stash tabs, indicating in top number of found matches. We can filter the stash by item type or rarity, or can search the stash for any word. Streamer mode implemented if wish to hide information. Combat text has added option to disable status text like vulnerable, dodge, auto-run function, and a better minimap zoomed out farther. Improved inventory management as gems will no longer drop as rewards. Instead, we will get gem shard materials to craft any gem. Enchantment cost reduced. We will have a higher cost for first re-roll, but any re-rolls afterwards have greatly reduced costs than we were used to. We will get crafting materials instead of lower rarity drops in higher tiers. In World Tier 4, we will only see ancestral items and sure legendary and unique items. Higher level monsters will drop items with greater power level potential. Whispers and Helltide caches will have a bonus to item power values. Introduction of the boss ladder. Players will be able to target farm the new and returning 5 endgame bosses for uniques and uber uniques, which drop at a much higher rate. Once you reach World Tier 3 and 4, can farm materials to summon all new bosses. That provides plenty of exclusive rewards beside uniques target farming or uber uniques. Here is an infographic presented in the dev stream. Content progression in the new season of Blood. Once reach World Tier 3, You can farm Whispers to get materials allowing summon Echo of Varshan Boss, or farm Helltide to do Grégoire, the Galvanic Saint. In World Tier 4, get access to all new and returning bosses. Each of them require a specific activity to farm the summoning materials. Of course, except Echo of Lilith, that is always available. All the materials to summon bosses are tradable between players. So this will make it a lot easier to get access to all bosses by simply trading your materials from your favorite activity. All the bosses have a loot table with specific unique drops for target farming, and the most challenging boss, Duriel, King of Maggots, is the only one that can drop uber uniques. To summon Duriel, you can only farm materials by defeating Varshan and Grégoire, or like said earlier, by trading. The season mechanic features new vampiric powers that provide a wide variety of powerful skills that will enable new builds and let you pursue the vampire fantasy in the sanctuary. Vampiric powers can be gained through obtaining a new resource called Potent Blood and require matching packs on gear. You will battle new Bloodseekers to farm season resources. They are former champions corrupted by the Vampire Lord. These enemies look and behave like player characters and can use familiar skills and powers to fight you. There will be 22 vampiric powers to shape new builds. I will show info about all the powers in few moments. Some of them allow summoning of bats, pool of bloods, enter vampiric blood rage form, or apply vampiric curse. Minor vampiric powers that require 1 to 3 packs on armor. Anticipation. Ultimate skills gain cooldown reduction and increase damage. Coven's Fangs increase damage to CC enemies and inflict vampiric curse. Domination increase damage to stunned, immobilized, frozen, or feared. Feed the Coven Lucky Hit. Restore primary resource to you and increase damage. Hectic. For every 5 basic skills you cast, 1 active cooldowns is reduced by 2 seconds. Hemomancy attacks deal 80% of your maximum life as physical damage to nearby enemies. Infection inflicts pox on enemies, multiple pox dealing 70% poison damage. Jagged Spike's Thorns have a 10% chance to deal 300% increased damage. Prey on the Weak increase damage to vulnerable enemies. Vampiric Curses apply vulnerable Rampart. While stationary, gain a barrier for 40% of your maximum life. Ravenous Lucky Hit, increase your attack speed by 40% of your total movement speed. Resilience, you gain 1% damage reduction for each 2% life you are missing. Sanguine Brace, when you kill an enemy, fortify for 6% of your base life. Terror chance to fear nearby enemies and slow them by 80% for 2 seconds. Undying Casting Skills heals you for 3% life. Double this bonus while below 50% life. Major Vampiric Powers that require 6 packs on armor. Accursed Touch Lucky Hit. 44% chance to inflict Vampiric Curse on enemies. Bathe in Blood. While channeling a skill, you form a pool of blood beneath you. Blood Boil. When your core skills overpower an enemy, you spawn 3 volatile blood drops. Call Familiar calls a bat ally to attack nearby enemies, dealing 80% physical damage. Flowing Veins deal increased damage over time to enemies that are moving or cursed. Metamorphosis. When evade, you turn into a cloud of bats, unstoppable for 4 seconds. Moonrise Basic Skill. Allow enter a Vampiric Blood Rage, gaining 160% basic skill damage. Blood Harvest. New seasonal event that takes place across multiple regions in Sanctuary throughout the season and increases your chances of receiving potent blood and packed armor drops to aid in your fight against the bloodthirsty foes. The event will be always active in one zone, independent of Helltide event times. Blood Harvest is a large-scale open-world event full of vampires to farm for seasonal resources. Blood Harvest will be available to participate in right from the start of Season Journey. Even from Level 1, you will see event zones filled with vampire minions. The event rewards exclusive materials to lure a fight with Bloodseekers and many items in the event shop Hunter's Acclaim. It does have some similarities with Helltide, but they announced enemies being higher levels. Overall, I am positive about new season, and I will be there create new content and builds since day one. We'll update after 10 of October with the balance patch and resistances fix they are about to announce. Thank you for watching and for support.